Welcome to the Note to Self podcast. I'm your host, Zoe. I'm a certified professional life coach, serial entrepreneur, verified YouTuber, and published author. On this podcast, you can expect actionable tips, reflections, and inspiration to live your best, most fulfilling life. So, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Note to Self. Today's Note to Self is your trigger is your opportunity to shift. So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge and validate that triggers are deeply uncomfortable whenever they occur, right? We can always fall into that place, well, I'm speaking personally anyways, of, oh, not right now. I really don't need this trigger right now. Or I was feeling so good and then X happened, right? So triggers are those moments in time where we find ourselves in an emotional state that is uncomfortable based on something that has occurred in our external reality. And so recognizing that triggers are actually an opportunity for growth and transformation and an opportunity to shift can be incredibly empowering. And I know for myself personally, once I started to really understand this of like, okay, each time I'm triggered, this is actually an opportunity for me to become more empowered in myself, stronger, and to shift into the next level identity that I'm creating for myself. I can stop catching myself in long periods of time in the triggers, right? Because, like I said, this is an empowering thought that triggers are an opportunity, right? Instead of, oh, triggers are the downfall, or triggers derail me, or triggerers triggers are my spiral downwards, right? And recognizing that triggers are an opportunity to shift. Just the word opportunity creates a whole new vibration. So what I mean by this is, let's say you're triggered by your bank account. I feel like this is something that us as human beings, we can always be triggered by money because, well, that's a whole conversation itself about how money is not really something we learn about in school, and how we find ourselves in these places and times where we have to figure things out all by ourselves, and it can cause triggers, right? So let's say you've been meditating, let's say you've been quantum visualizing a large sum of money in your bank account, like let's say an extra $10,000. And let's say you sign on to your bank account and you see my extra $10,000 is not there right now. And naturally, it could be easy to fall into a trigger. But let's say you do. Let's say for a moment you're like, oh, it's not here yet. It feels like it's never going to happen. And I feel like I'm not supported by source and this isn't happening. And why isn't it here yet? Right? When you catch yourself in that trigger, here's your opportunity to shift, right? This is actually where the work is. This is actually the work, is that each time you find yourself in a trigger, you choose differently. Okay? Each time you find yourself in a trigger, you choose differently. So instead of choosing, source is not supporting me, my manifestations isn't working, the visualization practice that I've been implementing, it's not going anywhere, right? There's your opportunity to claim your abundant future instead of continuously giving power to the past or power to the external reality, the matrix, if you will. So the choice in that moment could look like, everything I desire is on its way to me, or that $10,000 is magically, synchronistically making its way to me effortlessly and easily. Or just simply wiring in, I'm a magnet for money, and choosing that that is the truth, choosing that that is what is. The more and more that we are able to identify when we are in a triggered state, when we become the gentle observer of that, and then actively choose differently. And when we're actively choosing differently, it might not happen in a split second, but it's going to require your focus for a little period of time until you can shift out of the old story and shift into the new story. This is the work. Like I said, this is the work in creating your next level self, right? Have a few previous episodes on wiring in new belief systems and stop telling yourself lies, right? This is the opportunity where when you're experiencing a trigger, right, and it feels heavy, it's because there's lies present. And this is your opportunity to just blow shit up. This is an explicit episode now. Blow shit up and choose the new story, right? Start planting some new seeds. Start growing that blossoming garden of abundance that, for example, is your bank account. So, I encourage you all to remember that the next time you find yourself in a trigger, that this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to choose the future. This is your opportunity to consciously create that of which you desire. And what an empowering place to be. So, anyways, I hope that this episode sparked something for you guys. And as I close out this episode, I would love to remind you that the Digital Nomad Academy is open for registration right now. So take a look if more fun, more freedom, more finances is something that aligns with you, if being a laptop entrepreneur, if traveling the world, if just creating your dream life, whatever that looks like, a life filled with infinite freedom. If that inspires you, I encourage you to sign up and I would love to see you inside. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye. Thank you for listening to Note to Self. If you enjoyed this episode, please help me out by rating and reviewing this show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If my energy is resonating with you and you feel the call to work with me, there are an abundance of ways to do so. I offer one-to-one life coaching programs, mastermind containers, and DIY courses, all of which are available through my website, zoearielpolson.com. Until next time, take note of all the abundance that surrounds you as you make the most of this game called life.